Today, we are wrapping up Stoic Week with one of the most powerful perspective shifts that the Stoics practiced to make their biggest problems seem super schmall. Schmall.
Life is beautiful.
All right, Mike. So, have you ever thought about being an astronaut?
Never.
Okay.
I am actually an intelligent human that wants to stay on Earth.
Actually,
Have you?
astronauts are like the smartest people in the world.
Yeah, but to me, they're stupid because why would you do that?
Uh,
Just stay on the ground. It's
no,
fine.
no, they are doing.
I feel like you're the type of guy.
They're
who-
doing a service.
You are the type of guy who always wanted to be an
I
astronaut.
really would love to be an astronaut, but my wife will not allow me to be an astronaut.
Okay, so
All right. Well, I want to tell you a story about this guy, Ron Garin, who's an astronaut.
okay.
And he always dreamed about going to space. And if you put yourself in the perspective of an astronaut who has this dream, you would think that the coolest part of being an astronaut is going up into space, looking out at the stars and seeing the endless universe out there, right?
Yeah.
But
Like being in the stars. Yeah.
exactly. But Ron Garin, when he got his chance to go up in the rocket and be in space,
Mm-hmm.
that wasn't actually what
That's not what got him off.
That's not what got him off. That's not what changed him. That's not what impacted
what
him.
got him off.
Believe it or not, it was looking back at Earth.
Mm.
Because from about 250 miles above the planet, he looked out of his little tiny window and he saw a tiny blue marble floating in the darkness.
That's it? It was just 250 miles?
That's it.
Wow.
There was no country lines that he saw. There were no political parties, no traffic jams, no emails, none of the little shit that we spend so much time stressing over. All that just completely disappeared when he saw this perspective from 250 miles above the Earth's surface.
Wow.
And why do we talk about this, Mike? Why is that our final concept that we're sharing, and how does it relate to the Stoics?
Yeah, in the modern world, that's called the overview effect. But once again, the Stoics, 2,000 years ago, this is like the common fucking denominator in every episode. 2,000 years ago, the Stoics figured it out before everybody.
Yeah.
They called it the view from above without any rockets. They just had this understanding that they were on this thing that was floating in the middle of a universe.
No, actually, I don't know if they had all that knowledge yet about that they were floating in the universe yet.
Okay.
I don't know if they did, but what they did have was an understanding that their mind was an actual spaceship, meaning they
What the
could.
fuck does that mean?
I'll tell you what I mean by that. They realized that they could use their mind to imagine something,
Yeah.
and that's what they did. They would close their eyes and imagine themselves from a much higher perspective.
Yeah.
That is a deeper level of understanding, to understand that you can use your mind to change your perspective. Like these guys that went out into space,
They have to go
they
into space.
they actually used their physical form to go into space and look back.
Yeah.
Think about what the Stoics
I like
discovered.
that.
They
Yeah.
discovered that they can use their imagination to change their perspective.
So to go back on what you said about you're not sure if they knew about stars and shit, Marcus Aurelius, one of the Stoics, has a quote: "Dwell on the beauty of life, watch the stars, and see yourself running with them."
Oh yeah, I guess.
So,
No, but
but that's also further proving your point.
exactly, meaning all he knew is there were stars above him.
Yeah.
He didn't know that he was floating in this.
I
grand
remember
universe.
me and you were driving the other day, and we were looking up at the sun, and the
moon.
moon. We were looking up at the moon, and the
Full
moon
moon.
was super low and super bright a couple weeks ago, and you were just like, can you believe that thing right there is just like this gigantic thing floating in space, and that we are on this gigantic rock just in the middle of this vast universe? And it's like we were driving. I don't even know where we were driving, but I just remember how you saying that made me feel in that moment. It was just like calm. It was just like you forget. You
That's a way.
forget.
All right, so let's
forget.
All right, let's double click that, because that is really what this episode is about. Why did you feel calm in that moment and not actually anxious or nervous?
Because it gave me this peace that like we are so small and that the universe is so big and that we worry about these things that won't ever really matter. Like we make our lives the most important thing in the entire world. We are so zoomed in
Yeah.
to our lives, but when you zoom out and you see that there's so much more than your life and your
Yeah.
circumstances and your problems and the fact that you were late to this doctor today, like,
Yeah.
it's so stupid.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. Zoom the fuck out.
Yeah.
Zoom out.
Exactly. We had a conversation about this the other day, remember?
Yeah, like when I get wrapped into my goals and I look at the podcast growth and I compare this week's growth compared to yesterday's growth, it's like if I zoom out and I looked at how much we've grown over 2 years as opposed to one day, that practice of zooming out really puts things in
Yeah,
perspective.
sometimes the problem isn't that your worries are too big, it's that your perspective is too small.
Bars.
Yeah. So it's like if you think about a camera, you're just so fucking zoomed in on this one little segment of the wall that has a dot on it.
Yeah.
But when you
It's like
zoom all the way out, you're like, holy shit, that I can't even see that dot
it's
when I
like when
zoom
you
out.
replay like an insult that someone gave you or like a fight that you had over and over and
Yeah.
over and over and over and over again. You're just so zoomed in on that one thing. It ruins your day, ruins your mood. Doing this view from above exercise helps you to realize that like this thing will be forgotten. You will be forgotten.
So
Like,
yeah.
it's
And
it's all good.
have you ever noticed actually though, when you go to the beach or you go for a hike, right? How you tend to be more calm and peaceful?
Yeah, like you look at the vastness of the
You
ocean
look at the vastness of the
or the
ocean. You
vastness.
look at the
I remember when I looked at
vastness of the
I remember when
forest.
I looked at the Grand Canyon, I got like full body chills for some strange reason.
Yeah,
There's got to be some science there.
for sure. I mean, your perspective literally changes,
Yeah.
right? You realize that
So why is this useful?
it's useful because so much of our stress in life comes from making problems in our life bigger than they need to be.
Yeah.
And when we use this concept of zooming out and this view from above, like the Stoics call it, we make those problems that seem so big so much smaller and more manageable.
Yeah, and I want to add one thing because we're not saying zoom out so far that like the problem now disappears and you don't have to deal with that thing anymore.
No.
It's zoom out to regain perspective because chances are if you are so zoomed in, your nervous system has been hijacked by cortisol and you are so stressed about that zoomed in thing that you need to take that second to zoom out, regain your composure, regain your perspective, and then you can zoom back in and actually find a solution to your problem where you couldn't have
Yeah.
before because you were so hijacked.
And that's actually the call to action today. It's simply to zoom out. When you feel overwhelmed by your problems today, practice this view from above. Take the camera and zoom the hell out. See that problem in a year from now probably won't be as significant as it is right now.
Yeah, I think it'll definitely lessen your reactions, your emotional reactions to things
Yeah,
if you practice.
for sure.
this.
All right, so Mike, we just finished Stoic Week, but before we end this episode, I know we're going over here, but I want to just take a second to recap Stoic Week and what we really went over this week and what we learned. All right.
Yeah.
So the Stoics reminded us in episode 1 to focus on what we can control.
Yep.
The dichotomy of control, right?
Yep.
In episode 2, to remember that our time is limited and to use that to give us the courage to go after our dreams. Memento mori. Episode 3, to appreciate what we already have before it's gone.
Mm.
Premeditate. What is it?
Premeditatio malorum. We actually didn't even say
We
that.
didn't say that, but what is the
Negative visualization.
negative visualization? Episode 4 was to occasionally choose discomfort so we're stronger when life chooses it for us, which
Love it.
was
Voluntary discomfort.
correct. And our final episode today was all about
View from above.
view from above and zooming out and remembering that so many of our biggest worries aren't nearly as big as they seem. And maybe that's what the Stoics were really trying to teach us, was that most of life is all about perspective.
Well, congratulations. You are now Stoic AF after this 5-part series.
All right, we hope you enjoyed it. And by the way, if you have feedback for us, let us know. Send us a DM, send us an email,
Or comment.
comment. We want to keep making these series that you find beneficial and useful. So let us know. Give us some feedback. We love you. Have an amazing, amazing weekend.
Thanks
Peace.
for hanging out with us. Bye-bye now.